Welcome to another edition of Comic Book Business News. It is I, Josh Goldstein, on 3/24/2023. Here in the news, um, as the second Ukrainian war rages on with no end in sight, um, peace is on possibly on the horizon for that war, with China proposing a brokered peace between Zelensky and Putin. Meanwhile, former President Trump is possibly to be indicted on war charges with the addition of the um, congressional charge, 4 counts of treason in January 6th, and minor charges from a New York um, corruption case, and um, Georgia case to do with voting. The battered former president is also possibly being charged with things with the Stormy Daniels case, which has been going on for several years. President Trump possibly, in my opinion, shouldn't run for president again, because his legacy, however tarnished, is to, like, you he would possibly become elected and serve in jail, and it would be like, what are you, just out of sheer greed wanting to run for president? Your life is so pathetic, Mr. Trump. Perhaps clean it. Perhaps perhaps just you shouldn't run. I think he's rather an imbecile for wanting to run. He has too many court cases, too many accusations. He's the America's Ehud Olmert. Ehud Olmert was an Israeli prime minister who went to jail. I think that's Trump's future down the road. And it's not too long ago that Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, almost went to jail, but beat the rap probably because he's too good a prime minister, and it just isn't going to happen to Benjamin Netanyahu, but it might happen to Trump. He's still got he's still guilty 4 times over for the special, so there's still things to be determined for that. And special update. Possible things for coming up for my book, but I don't want to announce it yet, but hush, but possibly special things. Okay. Here in the here in the com here so the comics. This is the new issue of Savage Dragon 264. The story of Paul. It's revealed Paul Dragon, or graphic fantasy dragon, is Savage Dragon alternate reality. Alternate reality, the original dragon. So they brought him back. Only it's alternate reality. If I'm Eric Larson, I'm going over my childhood. all these and combining my childhood with all these different aspects of the dragon, like my little cartoon, kitty cartoons I used to draw. Oh, was that original dragon? Some people deal with things, they go to therapy. Eric Larson draws them. Almost, Eric's almost, I love reading Eric's comic every month. And it's the coolest thing. I hope he always does this. I know Invincible kind of isn't around anymore, and they don't have some other comics I used to like. This is definitely my favorite comic book. You know, one of my favorites. When I was doing a show, a comic book show, signing comics, picked up this guy's comic. It's Fem Force. I think it's a Fem Force 144. He's one of the main Mark Mark Hein Mark Heinke, I think, one of the major Fem Force artists. AC's a small company. The comics are like so. This is a kind of like an interesting comic book. It's interesting. There's women with pretty big breasts. I know it's like Night Vale, Sin, and they're like good girl art. So not bad girl. So you want to this is like a lot like Big Bang Comics, except more girls. I think Eric Larson owns the Femme Force girls these days. I think he bought the rights to it. At the same show, I also bought this old who's the this old Batman. It's like 70s Batman. It's kind of interesting. Comics were only 60 cents. Gene Conlon and Klaus Janson. Two interesting guys. Gene Conlon is classic Batman guy. Classic comics. Like, I guess this is a pretty good comic. Klaus Janssen's one of those guys who still is one of the best. Maybe one of these. And also, like when I was hanging recently somewhere, picked up in Action Comics. This is like an interesting comic. Is basically trying to revise Power Role. Basically, Power Girl's alternate Supergirl. But so I have upcoming things to do with my book. My book is doing good. I hope I get some royalties from it. This is my book of like basically I know I'm making money, but things are a little slow. Um Priorities. Hey, big name this faces corporations. Basically, I do have some basically things are looking up though. I might my book might be turned into something cool. I can't talk yet. Read it all from it. Colony Neo Eretz Kafir Avi Palace of the Duke of Ain, Zalshandi III 6960. Neo Eretz, the distress of King Tall piqued Duke Aen's interest. He surely will divorce his wife soon, and he Caesar lands. And Samuel's policy of concubines, while barbaric, will help the Eretz people, Aen thought. Aen turned to his daughter, beautiful young Shulamit, who was still unmarried and back from Kafir Shechem University for the summer. Shulamit, now is the time I told you as a young girl that your people need you, Aen said. Tell me what I have to do, Abbas, Shulamit told her father. After a 6-month trip to space, Shulamit Aen arrived on Zan and landed her cruiser in the spaceport of Xylo, the Zane Empire. She traveled from Xylo to Megiddo by bus, presented her letter of accommodation to the court vizier. To vizier, I am sending my daughter Shulamit to the king of Zayn as a bride. She is beautiful, fertile, and intelligent, and a good storyteller. The Eretz pledge their loyalty to Aleph to remind them of the promise of an independent Eretz state after the war. Sincerely, the Duke of Aen. Sure. That was so basically this book is I think will pique your will I is a still isn't a steal on Amazon currently for $5 and in hardcover for 10. So I think I think it's I think it's out, outstanding. Hey, online book club thinks so. Samantha B from Online Book Club. So anyway, I'll just leave off by saying goodbye and good luck.